On today's Buckeye Roast, the new AP poll is out. We'll react to where the Buckeyes and others stand after another wild weekend. We'll recap our bold takes and over-under picks from last week and give you our biggest takeaways 24 hours later now that the dust has settled. And finally, looking ahead, which teams in college football concern you the most matchup-wise for the Buckeyes? We'll give our answer and take yours from the chat. I'm Chris Drew, and this is the Buckeye Roast with Ron and Q right here on Dead Air Sports. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are back for another episode of the Buckeye Roast. It's your boy Ron James here with my guy QP Ski. Q, how you doing?
Not too bad. Another solid weekend as we hone in for the weekend. Another Buckeye win. Can't complain.
Absolutely not. Cannot complain. The Buckeyes are 4-0 after getting a 24-6 win over the Washington Huskies in Seattle. Q, the Buckeyes get a huge win on the road, and the Streak Slayer, I know you hate that name, Julian Sayin, it gets it done, ends the second longest home winning streak in the country. No stat of the day, but maybe, I guess that is the new stat of the day. Streak no more.
Yeah, we'll see if he can break that Minnesota six days without a loss streak next week.
That'll be a big one to keep an eye on this weekend. But first, we got to talk about a crazy week 5 in college football. But before we get to it, a little bit of housekeeping around here. We have a big announcement. In a continued effort to grow the show, we are going to be testing a new time slot for the Buckeye Roast. For the next 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you will be able to catch the Buckeye Roast at 10 a.m. It says live at 8 a.m. at the bottom. Now that I'm seeing that, I should probably get that updated for the next 3 days. But for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this week, we will be experimenting with a new time slot at 10 a.m. Just seeing if we can grow our live viewer count in the morning, our subscriber count, and just trying to find more viewers. We appreciate all the people that have been rocking with us all of this time, and just hoping we could find more people that enjoy the show just as much as you guys.
Yeah, you don't even need to update that. Just on this other side, just put sometimes. ..
Well, for the people that have been rocking it with us for a real long time, they know 8 a.m. did not mean 8 a.m. when we were actually waking up in the mornings to do the show. Rarely did the show start at 8 a.m. We said
Maybe.
What time? I believe we said we were going to start recording today at 1:30 a.m. It is 2:15 and we are 3 minutes into the recording. So now that we pre-record the show, a lot better at hitting the start time. But an announcement for the next couple of days, we will be experimenting with the 10 a.m. Time slot, and then we'll be back to 8 a.m. on Friday for the live show, and we'll see where we go from there. But as of now, we are here at 8 a.m. today, 10 a.m. for the next 3 days, and then back at 8 on Friday. Q, I'm sure no one followed that, and they're going to be like, where's the show tomorrow? But I tried.
You'll find it eventually. It'll pop up at some time in the day.
We got plenty to get into, so let's get started.
Play the song.
Q, the AP poll came out yesterday, and the Buckeyes remain at the top of the poll. I thought that voters might try to get cute and slide Oregon in front of the Buckeyes, but I guess a win over the number 9 team in the country, and then Washington. I think this is their way of saying we should have ranked Washington, but here you go, you get to stay at 1.
Fair enough. Not too mad at it. A lot of big wins over the weekend, but we stay at 1. Oregon obviously jumps up to 2. I thought it was a decent performance by them, and we'll get into it probably tomorrow. But solid performance by them. Miami still at 3. Obviously, that Florida State game no longer looks as good because of Cross Virginia, but we're not going to talk about that. I see a solid top 5. Oregon, Oklahoma at 5. So still a big time matchup with Texas. We'll see if that holds.
If I would have showed you this as a preseason poll 4 months ago and said this is going to be the top 5 6 weeks into college football, you would have thought I was crazy, correct?
Yeah, especially if I look and Notre Dame's nowhere to be seen. I'm like, oh, where's Notre Dame at?
They're right there at 21.
Yeah, but if you show me the top 5, I'd have been like, I think like, where are they at? It's good this year. But yeah, no, I would have thought it was crazy. I mean, Ole Miss, Miami, Oklahoma. I can believe Oregon. Those other ones, I'd have been like, what happened?
Penn State falls to 7 after losing to Oregon. Is that too far of a slide for them?
Not really, man. I mean, Penn State, like I say, we'll jump into it more probably later, but that was a horrific 3 quarters by them at home to absolutely not threaten Oregon at all. No passing. I think Aller had like 66 yards through most of the game, like something crazy. They just had no deep threat, man. I expected way more from that offense. We talked about the receivers in the preseason, and they absolutely didn't play offense till they had to. So not a good performance by them. 7 is pretty sweet because if you look, Indiana, Texas, Alabama, neutral site, I could see all of them beating Penn State if they're going to play like that. Decent defense, but that offense needs work.
Offense absolutely needs work, and it feels like we've been talking about the potential of Drew Aller for 3 years now, and we get into year 3 of Drew, and it's like, well, year 4 now at this point. 4. And it's like, well, at what point does potential become production? Because it still hasn't happened, and it doesn't look like this was supposed to be their year. This was Drew's final year. This was going to be their Ohio State year, and maybe they're trying to follow the Ohio State playbook so much to a T that they're like, well, they lost to Oregon in the middle of the season last year and then won the national championship. So they go out and get our defensive coordinator. They lose to Oregon in the regular season. James Franklin did the Ryan Day lost to Michigan pose on the field after the loss, was looking very confused on the field post game. Are we writing off Penn State too early? Are they following the Ohio State storybook?
I mean, no, because Ohio State showed up to Oregon with a pulse and probably lost the game by the ref not giving them a second at the end. But at least they played offense, and it was a good game. And that Oregon team last year looks better when we play them than this current Oregon team does right now. And not say they still have potential. There's a long season to go. But, I mean, last year, that was a really good team. So I think Penn State has underwhelmed. And, again, putting them at 7, like, if we go down the list, Ron, like, do you think 8 would beat Penn State? 8, 9, and 10? You think they all would beat Penn State right now?
I think Penn State would beat Indiana. They absolutely would not beat Alabama and Texas. Definitely a toss-up, but like just for the sake of wanting to prop up Ohio State's resume, I'd like to pretend like Texas is a half-decent team. But regardless of who would win that game, you know who I know would beat both of those teams? Ohio State. After watching that Penn State game, not very concerned about that matchup.
Yeah, me either. We maybe potentially see Oregon down the road, but I mean that's kind of how I walked out. I mean, either they're really good defenses, elite, or Ohio State really shouldn't have much problems as it looks right now in the Big Ten getting through and getting that win against Penn State. So we will see. Funny enough, this is down the line a little bit. Texas Tech at 11. Actually might go see them play. They come here in a couple of weeks, so it would be nice to see them alive in person. So I may go check that out. But Georgia at 12 was a good game. Unfortunately, I was split between one TV and another and tried to, be Big Ten and watch Penn State win. I'm like, this game over here is lit. I should be watching this up. Let me turn around real quick because that game was exciting. But the Alabama problem continues for Georgia.
Absolutely. I mean, and we'll get into that in just a second because that was a part of our bold takes and preview for our Friday show. I mean, not so great on the bold takes, but we did we hammered the upset alert. I mean, if you were following our show as to what games to watch this weekend, you saw the best games of the week. One thing that I wanted to hit on before we moved on, Michigan slides from 19 to 20. Fair foul, dropping on a bye week.
It's kind of foul. I think let's just move that one back just for sport, but it is what it is, I guess.
Absolutely, I would be upset there. Q. Last week we had a great show on Friday, I thought, and we started off with an upset alert list. And man, did we hit the nail on the head with that one? We had USC, Illinois.
Close.
You know how that turned out. Had Florida, Virginia as a trap game. Any comment for your Fighting Norvells?
Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch a game because I was at a game, but I just kept getting score updates. And of course, Ron calls me like, "I told you." I'm like, "All right, Ron, go to the game. I can't talk right. Sorry, bad signal." so yeah, that was unfortunate. I need to go rewatch it, but yeah, losing to Virginia, Florida State may have been false gold.
Tennessee almost gives it up to Mississippi State. Has to go to overtime. Q, we do a fraud alert every week, and I think we might be doing something for the first time ever and putting a fraud alert on an entire fucking conference because SEC seems very unserious to me right now.
Yeah, I mean, you look down the line. I mean, Tennessee, I've been hyping them for the last couple of weeks. I'm like, they just blew the game against Georgia. They were clearly the better team for most of the game and lose a field goal at the end of that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's one of those SEC lowers when you go to Mississippi State or when you play Mississippi State, things get weird. So maybe one of those, but they didn't look good. I mean, Alabama looks really good right now, who lost to Florida State. You know, they're playing a lot better, but outside of them, yeah, it's just, there's a lot of fraud going around.
Speaking of Alabama, the last note from the upset alert section last week was Kirby has a Bama problem, and it continues. And Q, if Ryan Day lets his record against Michigan get to 1-6, I think Buckeye fans are going to lose their mind. At what point does Georgia have to do something about this Bama problem? Like, obviously you don't get rid of Kirby, but at some point you have to address, hey, there's someone in our conference that is in our way every year, and we don't seem to have an answer for it unless we see them in a national championship. And I have bad news for Georgia fans. You're gonna have to play Alabama in non-national championship games way more often than you do see them in a national championship game. So you're gonna probably want to sort that out before you get to the Natty.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. He's really only beat them one time and got the Natty for it. So good for him. But outside of that, it has not been good. And they had to play them twice that season. It's hard to beat a good team twice. So we'll say, yeah, there's definitely a Bama problem. I don't know what it is exactly, but it just doesn't, when they play Bama, it just doesn't look like the same Georgia team as they do more for the rest of the season. Not that Georgia looked crazy good this year, but they've looked solid at least. They didn't look good in that game, and they were back in. But, yeah, it's definitely an Alabama problem.
And then I had as our sleeper game of the week, Iowa, Indiana, and I mentioned during my pre-game analysis that Iowa, known for having a good defense, and everyone's like, oh, Iowa's defense isn't good this year. Looks a whole lot better than Illinois, I'll tell you that. I don't know if the Iowa, I don't even – Xavier Nwampa, like that's probably the only Iowa player that I can name right now. I don't know if he was watching the program and heard us say that their defense was half decent, but they put out their best defensive performance of the year and almost pull off an upset over Indiana. Were you more impressed with Iowa's performance against Indiana or pulling out your fraud alert for Indiana?
Yeah, I mean, I think I said on Friday that I wanted to see if Indiana was for real. I felt like they would get above 30 and actually put some points on the board. I mean, even if it was like a 34-17 win or something like that, I'd have been like, okay, they gave them some points, but like they're probably for real because Iowa's just a tough team to beat, especially the way they play defense, and that is confirmed now. But I think the funniest part about that game, and this is off subject of the game, is the sports bet line that absolutely got killed when they took that safety at the end of the game. It was -6.5, and for no reason runs all the way into the end zone and takes a safety.
All these NBA players that are getting randomly investigated for point shaving are probably at the Leonardo DiCaprio meme. What? Is anybody seeing this? What is going on?
Time ran out a long time before he actually ran into the end zone to take it. Why is that even a play? It doesn't make sense because you can also fumble and you just almost lost the game, or at least tied the game. That's why.
Well, why did he go down before that?
Yeah, exactly. Because if you fumble in the end zone, and then tie ball game, go to overtime, and you probably lose because you deserve to at that point. Like that right there. Like I never say betting is rigged, and shout out to Mike Green for sending me that. But that was the most rigged thing I think I've ever seen in sports. I would absolutely have to ask some questions after that game.
Well, proof that I don't have any point shaving scandals going on. I got absolutely wrecked. My bold takes prediction from Friday last week. Q. I had Brandon Innis touchdown. That did not hit. I had Julian Sayin clean bill, 0 turnovers. That did hit. I had no penalties for Tegra.
I told you he was due. I said it'll be a false start and Tegra's due. That's bad when there's 5 guys you can predict who's gonna do it. Sorry, shout out to Tegra though. Shout out to Tegra.
Yeah, Q, because there was people on my head during the post game talking about why you always signaling out one person. I'm like, why is one person always signaling himself out? I don't know. Look, Caleb Downs' punt return appearance. I was editing for the most part of the second half. That did not happen.
No,
it did not. And then did they bring anyone in for Brandon Innis? I meant to ask you this pre-show. Did they punt again in the second half after the fumble?
Yeah, they did punt, and I was surprised to see Innis in there after the fumble. No, they didn't.
Okay, they put him back out there?
Yeah.
They keep asking me to put out a new punt returner. I ain't gonna do it, so quit asking.
Yeah, honestly, it's bad too because that was a good punt return until he fumbled. I was like, okay,
Bro, and I don't know, what is this like new Gen Z fumble where like people just like get hit and just throw the ball over their head? Like what happened to just like fumbling? I saw like 3 different times this weekend where someone got hit and just like tossed the ball. I'm like, what's going on there?
Well, lucky for Innis, AD Mitchell has one of the worst fumbles you'll see ever this weekend. So if anybody's looking for fumbles, I think they'll watch that one first, and he might be able to slide. That Colts one's terrible.
We did a little bit better with our over-unders, Q. We had over 69.5 yards for Bo Jackson. He hits that with 80 yards on 17 carries, 4.7 yards per carry. We had the Buckeyes under 0.5 turnovers. The Buckeyes had another clean bill, did not turn the ball over, so we hit on that as well. JJ, over 1.5 touchdowns.
Yeah, not
missed on that one. Honestly, if I have to say so myself, I think that's more on the staff than me being wrong. I think JJ should have had 2 touchdowns, personally.
Probably Ohio State should have had a few more touchdowns, but we'll jump into that in a second. But yeah, I agree.
I had defensive line 2.5 sacks. I believe you took the over. I don't think that I did, and I don't know if Caden Curry took that personally, but he went out and got 3 sacks himself.
Yeah, I think you spelled my name wrong. It's not DL. It's wrong initials.
I haven't even done the math on this one. We had over under 2.5 catches by tight ends. I'm looking at the box score. I see one Jelani Thurman, Max Clare, and no other tight ends. So the under hits. Q, you see Brandon Innis make his first appearance as far as a wide receiver. It seems like that he just finally became involved in the offense this weekend, and it was good to see. And you also see one of the first games where we don't have 3 tight ends. catch the ball. Do you think that's a coincidence? Do you think you will see more use of the slot wide receiver going forward, or do you think we will continue to see at least 3 tight ends catching the ball going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit in this offense DNA just to play a lot of tight ends. I mean, they should have had over 3. Jelani Thurman was running by himself in the end zone, but obviously.
Oh, he caught one. He had one.
No, he got a catch. He should have had a touchdown. Obviously, he stepped on at practice one time. He's like, yeah, I ain't throwing you the ball. He was running by himself at the end there for that last touchdown. But yeah, I mean, we're just going to play a lot of tight ends. Again, I think that rotation now is the rotation, but it was good to see Ennis involved. I think he played, and I haven't seen, the all-22 yet, but I think he played pretty solid when he caught the ball. He's explosive in short space. I think people just want to see an All-American slot tight end. I'm like, hey, to tell you, buddy, you probably got 2 on the outside, and before there's not a lot of 3 All-American wide receiver teams, even if they have the talent to do so. So I thought he played solid. Good to see him get involved there, get some catches in, and he blocked pretty well, so we'll watch it back, but I thought he had a decent game despite Twitter on his head after that fumble. I thought he played pretty well outside of the fumble.
Well enough to hit the over for our final over-under on Friday. We had Brandon in his yards at 20.5. He goes out there, second leading receiver at 34 yards. Q, that's our recap. I just thought I thought Friday's episode was kind of on point with the national topics and with some of the over-under predictions. So I just wanted to get a recap. We've been doing those for like 3 years, and we rarely recap them. So we're trying to up the production value around here.
I think it's just because we were pretty on par. If we were not, you would have got 0 recap. We didn't talk football last week. We actually didn't have
I went 1-4 on bold pigs. The modest Ron.
So that goes as well as the picks go. That's fair enough.
Well, Chris Drew and I did a post game yesterday that aired on the channel and also in the Bleacher Report app. If you're into that kind of thing after the game, make sure you tune in the Bleacher Report app for an instant reaction from the 2 of us. Q, we rarely talk about the game until we get in front of a camera the following Monday. It's normally just trolling about bad jokes and takes for about the previous week. We'll randomly call each other like, remember that take on Tuesday? Like, that's normally our communication through the week, so we don't normally get to talk about the game. And then we come and do a post game after I've already talked about the game. So I'm always interested to hear your thoughts. 24 hours after the game, you've had a day to digest what happened with the Buckeyes. And how are you feeling 24 hours after that victory? And what are your big takeaways from that game?
I mean, you look at the score, 24-6. I mean, it was a solid win on the road. A couple of things here. One, I'll start on the defensive side. I mean, Caden Curry is an absolute monster out there. Like, the way he played, I mean, man, he's looked as good as defense is maybe we've seen in the past few years, like outside of the JT's Penn State games and that playoff run. I mean, Caden Curry is doing it week after week, and that's something where we're like, we want consistency. Well, he's bringing it. So definitely he was a star out there. And then Matt P again with a good performance. I mean, I get it. It was a little bend, don't breaky. And they also let the quarterback sit back there all day. So one shout out to the secondary because they had to guard for probably like 10 seconds of play because they didn't want DeMond Williams just running crazy. So shout out to them. Gave him a couple plays, but I thought the defense played really solid. And again, we talked about it, through 4 weeks now, 2 touchdowns. I'm not mad at it. Or was it week 5? So through 5 weeks, 2 touchdowns, throw the bye in there somewhere. So happy with it.
Before you pivot, I wanted to stick on the defensive side of the ball. You talk about the points allowed. They have only given up 22 points so far on the season. A few defensive stats for the Buckeyes. They are first in scoring defense, 5.5 points per game. They are first in total TDs allowed, 2. They are first in TDs allowed per game, 0.5 TDs per game. First in total extra points allowed. First in opponent red zone scoring percentage. First in opponent red zone touchdown percentage. First in opponent total TDs. First in rushing TDs allowed. Third in opponents long plays from scrimmage. Q, the list goes on. There are another 12 statistics about the Ohio State defense where they rank in the top 10. The guy that they told me was the kingmaker of this defense just lost to Dante Moore at home. And Matt Patricia, the guy that they told me rode Bill Belichick's coattails to multiple Super Bowl rings, is out here wheeling and dealing with the most talented and potentially best defense in America. How scared should teams be of Matt Patricia in this defense?
I mean, very. You think about it, we probably only gave up the 2 field goals just because Damon Williams is such a great athlete and they didn't want him running crazy. If they had more of a statue quarterback, they probably don't get that. Also, shout out to that wide receiver. I forget, we talked a lot about Boston, but that freshman wide receiver I thought had a pretty good game. 81. I don't remember his name, but he was solid. But yeah, Matt P again. I mean, this defense is talented. We're starting to get a little more. I mean, Caden McDonald, got a shout out him. He was a monster as well on Saturday. I thought Kenyatta Jackson, he's got a lot of complaints on Twitter. I don't know if he finished with a sack, but I thought he had a pretty decent game on Saturday as well. So really all around, Tyrone McClone. I mean, I'm still mad at Edric Houston for that penalty. So I watched it all 22 and try to maybe give him some credit if he deserves it, but that penalty pissed me off for no reason.
I mean, honestly, the only way that I can like think about that without being infuriated is just like Edric Houston is such a good teammate that he was like, you know what? I need a more ridiculous penalty than Tegra. So I'm going to go out there and just do something crazy to get my mans off the hook and have everyone yelling at me. So good on Edric there for that penalty. The name you were looking for was Desmond Roebuck. He had a solid game for them. 4 catches, 58 yards, an average of 14.5 yards per catch. I thought this defense did a great job of containing their stars. Everybody is familiar with the PFF graphic that everyone was toting around last week with Damon Williams on there, Denzel Boston, and their running back. I'm pulling a cue, completely blanking on his name.
I'm bad with names.
Jonah Coleman. And 3 of the most dynamic players for the respective positions in the country. You see and when you look at this, you have a first round potential, at least day 2 wide receiver. You have a day 2-ish NFL type running back, and one of the more explosive and shifty quarterbacks in the country. And the Buckeyes seem to eliminate all 3 of those factors from this game and manage not to give up a single touchdown. And I don't know if anyone else is watching college football, but I haven't seen that many great offenses where I'm like, oh my, I don't want to see them. I think, if anything, if you're talking about any unit on either side of the ball, I'm looking around and saying, if there's one unit that I don't want to play, it's the Ohio State defense right now.
Yeah, I mean, the corners are playing elite. I mean, we talked about Orville Reese and Sonny Styles really making a claim for the best linebacker core in America. And I mean, obviously, Caleb Downs is like, the defense is so good. Sometimes you forget Caleb Downs is out there. And obviously, you watch it back and like, okay, he's making impact plays, but it's just like there's so much credit to go around. I think the only thing they really gave up was a few seam passes really to this offense. So, I mean, again, we're not going to play a quarterback like that probably again in the season unless I'm blanking on somebody. I mean, super dynamic. So that's probably the only reason you would even give up those passes, because those wide receivers got 10 seconds to get open. But outside of that, yeah, this defense is something I definitely don't want to play. And I would have said, okay, we'll see if Oregon or Penn State can test that. I mean, after that game, really not worried about either of them. I mean, again, they can get better and we'll see later down the road. But yeah, there's not really an offense that threatens me. Really, the only offense I was really ever concerned about, we probably won't see them, it was Tennessee for like a half. I was like, damn, well, those guys are explosive. But again, you go to Mississippi State, and Mississippi State can hold them somewhat accountable. I'm pretty sure Ohio State can as well.
Yeah, you had a good shout earlier, Q, on Kenyatta Jackson. He did indeed have a sack. He joined Caden McDonald, who had 2, and Caden Curry with 3. You saw all the tweets where people are ready to already crown Caden Curry. They're already saying he looks like one of them brothers, and he's they're not talking about brothers like us. He's talking about them Bosas, Q. Are you ready to go there? It seems a bit premature, but you know, all the hype before the season was around Bo Atkinson, 7.5 sacks coming in from North Carolina. And, you know, Caden Curry, 4 games into the season, 5 sacks already. How impressed are you with the season that he's putting together?
Massively. I mean, I really thought when we coming in, I'm like, okay, if there is a defensive end that is primed to go, it's King out of Jackson, and I thought he would be having this explosive output. But Caden Curry, it is no shot at King out of Jackson. He's just an absolute monster, man. I'm like, if he's playing this well, maybe we should have seen more of him the last few years because they are completely understaffed. I mean, he's playing at elite level. I mean, I won't go Bosa level just because the Bosa's played as soon as they stepped on campus. So obviously, we know what those defensive lines were because it was filled with pros. So I may not go that far yet. If he stays consistent and we'll play some better opponents, we'll see. But I mean, right now, like All-American level right now.
No wonder we won the national championship last year. It's like, oh yeah, who do you guys scrimmage against in practice? Oh, these scrubs on our second string, Arvell Reese and Caden Curry. Like they were playing one of the best defenses in the country. They were just their second team.
Yeah, I'm just like, you watch these games and we've done this years and years. It's just like, why was this guy not playing more? Like, I can't believe he should not have been on the field. I don't think he got that much better this offseason. Like, I don't believe he should have been limited to that many snaps that they got last season. But I mean, yeah. Again, he's playing extremely well. I mean, I haven't looked around the country and seen every defensive end, but if you can find me a handful that's playing better than him, please send the tape over because I'd love to watch him.
It's starting to become a theme around Ohio State. It feels like there's no days off inside the Woody. Like there's no easy day once you step between those lines at Ohio State because they're just so filled with talent. I always say that I don't think anyone has had a more miserable college football practice experience than the job of Denzel Burke for the last 4 years. Like, yeah. I don't think you're having a bad day. It's raining. You got a test on Friday. Your car's not starting. You're walking to work or you're walking to the Woody, or you got to get an Uber. And then you got to go cover Jeremiah Smith. Or you got to go cover Marv. It's like, oh, Marv graduates. Oh, we got this alien from South Florida, though. Good luck. And it just seems like the Buckeyes just continue to stack talent, and the level of competition each day inside the Woody is just breeding the results that you're seeing on the field.
Yeah, I mean, it is. And again, like Caden Curry, people were worried if he would start this year. Bo Axon coming in, like you said, he got all the hype. And I'm like, what was it? Who were they scouting? It was like, we should be good. Like this dude is definitely probably the best we have. So obviously bringing for depth, but yeah. Also, I would love to see CJ play a little more. I think I have not been so impressed where I'm like CJ Hicks should not. Outside of Caden Curry, CJ Hicks should not be on the field more. I think he brings them different, especially Bo Axon has been a little underwhelming for me. I gave him a lot of credit against Ohio, but he's been a little underwhelming. But we won, so I'm not criticizing players here. We'll love to see a little more of him, but yeah, I thought the defense overall looked really solid. And again, you named out all the stats, and I get it. We haven't played the best offenses. You can say what you want to say about Texas and how good they are, but really besides Texas has been a more so decent output. So we'll see if they can maintain this. Oh, go ahead, Ron. Yes, I'm sorry.
No, it just seems like it's a constant moving of the goalpost once Ohio State beats someone else. Like Arch Manning was the second coming of Jesus, and then they had to, cancel Easter. And then you have these three. They were the three-headed monster that couldn't be stopped, and they're so talented. No greater collection of talent we've ever seen on offense. And Ohio State's like, yeah, 6 points. I saw a Washington fan talking shit on the timeline, and I just quote tweeted him. I said, "Score a touchdown, little bro. Like, shut up. What do you have to say? You weren't able to score a touchdown. We had to hear about how dynamic your quarterback was. You got a first-round receiver, this and that. You guys couldn't even get in the end zone."
Yeah, I think we talked about it maybe midweek or towards the end of last week. All the tweets are coming out. I'm worried about this Washington game. Oh, this quarterback. So I'm like, bro, like, I'm not going to be Kyle McCord on this podcast and take a deep breath before we go see Washington. Show me on the field. Yeah, let it be close in the fourth quarter. Maybe I'll start breathing. But until then, I have to see it. And obviously, Ohio State's defense, and I said it. You said, which coordinator you worry about? Well, it ain't Matt P. And he just showed you why. He puts, again, another really good performance and giving up 6 points to that collection of talent you just talked about. Because Washington is talented, and they're going to score points. I will take that all day, every day. And, again, if you see Matt P around Columbus, make sure to wave high, open the door for him, give him some free food, whatever you got to do. Keep him here as long as possible.
Q, we spent a lot of time talking about the defense, and if you had been watching this show for the month leading up to the season, you would have thought Ohio State would be scoring 77 points per game. With as much as I've talked about these SFE receivers, and Buckeyes feel like they just have training wheels on this offense, and a lot of people weren't happy with like my little mini rant after the game where I just said, it feels like the Buckeyes, the only thing that can hold them back is this coaching staff. Like the best defense that we've seen on this offense, the coaches. And my thing is, it's not that I'm questioning whether or not this team is capable of succeeding. It's just when's it going to happen? And I don't even think that the coaching staff is wrong in the approach that they're taking, because clearly they had a plan. Just like last year when they said that they were taking a different approach to the season given how long the season was going to be with the expanded playoff. And it feels like Ryan Day each year has a new point of emphasis and something that he's focusing on. And knowing the way that teams are so comfortable just taking the air out of the ball and trying to run clock against Ohio State, he understands how important it is to protect the ball and make sure that the Buckeyes are scoring and making the most of every possession. You only get 3 possessions in the first half because of the Brandon Inniss turnover on the punt return. And it just seems like Ryan Day is not concerned with style points. He's concerned with national championships. And it feels like he has a very NFL approach when he goes out there of, we're just going to go out there and win the game. It's not going to look pretty. You may not like it. The only concern that I have is, do they find ways to make sure that their playmakers feel involved when they have the opportunity to actually get them involved? In a Minnesota game, are you going to go out there and make sure that Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Smith are getting their counting stats so they have them when it's time to go to the NFL? I mean, obviously with Jeremiah Smith, but when you're trying to convince multiple 5-star receivers to come to Ohio State, you're going to want to make sure that you show an ability to get all of them the ball. Do you see this opening up in these games where the result is less in question?
Yeah, I like most of the fan base was not happy, especially with that first half performance. I just don't really, and I get it. It always takes me back to one of my favorite quotes. The only person that can hold Michael Jordan under 30 is Dean Smith. That's how I feel about this Ohio State offense. And it's just like Julian saying at this point, as we've seen, he's had some picks in the season, but he hasn't done anything to warrant training wheels. Like, I felt like we called a more aggressive performance when we had Kyle McCord back there. And through a few games, Julian said,
did he learn something from that?
I'm just saying, like, he looks better than Kyle McCord does. So I don't get it, especially that first half, man. It felt like watching Penn State that night. Let's run on first, run on second, and then at third we have to pass, try to get it done. It's like, you can throw the ball on first down. It's okay. Like, we get it. You want to run the ball. I understand. Bo Jackson's playing really well, but open it up a bit. And it feels, I think it feels really diverse from what we've seen the last couple of weeks. And it's like, bro, we're on the road at Washington. We're not on the road at Oregon. We're not on the road at Penn State. Like, you feel like, especially with the way the defense is playing, you feel like you can open it up and let Julian Sayin spin the ball a little bit. I get it. The win is the only thing that matters, but that first half was such a snore fest. I'm like, come on, man. Like, we should have 21 by now. And you got Jeremiah Smith's out there somewhere. As soon as you throw it to him, touchdown. Like, how hard was that? So I am a bit upset. I want them to open it up a little more. I understand, get the win, first road win, all that good stuff, long travel time. But yeah, I just don't believe they have to be this conservative. And I think this is your chance to really build it up, because you're going to get in the game, and this always happens, where the defense ain't stopping everybody. I mean, we haven't seen an offense yet that would challenge them, but you just have those games where sometimes it turns into a shootout, and it's like, that's not the first time I want to see you really let Julian Sayin go out there and make plays in a big game. Like, let them spin, let them get comfortable, let them have mistakes. We'll be okay. The defense will catch us in a game against Washington. So I just don't think we need to be that conservative.
You said the defense ain't stopping everybody, but I mean, we're going to get into it. I don't know. They might.
I mean, they might. I mean, they might. But you always get into one of those games where it's just like, they're pulling everything out. It's a close, like, it's bound to happen. It doesn't matter who it's against. They're bound to get into a game where like the Oregon game last year. Or the defense just, they may not have that day. The coach may have Matt P's number. We haven't seen it yet. We may not, and I'll be happy if we don't. But this offense is just like you're holding them back for no reason, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But here's my thing. Ryan Day has come out, and if this was just happening without him telling us before the game, this is exactly what I'm going to go out there and do. He has referenced the phrase style points in the last week. He evoked the Texas game plan while talking about this week. He's tipping his hand before every week, and he's like, I don't care. Quit asking because I'm not going to do it. Like he is on his Saban. I'm going to come out here and win my way and do exactly. I'm going to do it how I see fit. And how dare you argue with me? I'm a national championship coach, and he proved it last year. And my thing yesterday on the post game pretty much was they seem content on developing this team and winning at their own pace. And as long as they're winning, Ryan Day's fine with that.
I mean, we'll be fine with it if they continue to win down the line. And again, no team has challenged us yet, so you really feel comfortable with that. I'm just looking at it. I'm like, this kid's young. He hasn't played a lot of football. What he has done, or has played a lot of college football, what he has done so far just feels like you should go on the road and just really be able to roll the dice. Ryan Day doesn't want to do that. Maybe he knows something I don't know. But just watching it on TV, I'm like, bro, like I know these wide receivers can get open when it's not a predictable pass play just because now you have to pass it. It's like, come on, man. We got all these receivers. Play some football. Roll it out. I don't need to see 15 tight ends every play. I don't need, especially the way we're running the ball right now, and that's something with this offense. The run is a struggle at times. And I get it. Bo Jackson has come onto the scene. He's playing a lot better. He needs to play more because obviously there hasn't been much out there besides him, and he's added an explosive element just with the way he runs. Shout out to Bo. Would be one of my MVPs of the week. This week, maybe we'll do that later, though, our MVP, so maybe I spoiled it. But I think Bo Jackson's playing really well, but the run hasn't exactly been, and they also talked about in training camp whether this team is passing a lot. You look right now, you're like, well, I see why. We can't move Washington. It is a little bit of a struggle, so that's why I think we should open up a little more, but yeah, get the win. I'm happy with it. I guess you can't complain. It's 24-6 win on the road.
A 24-6 win on the road, and you watched the tone of the post game, and clearly you could see the frustrations coming out on the post game of just like the game not looking the way that we wanted to. And then after 24 hours, I step back and I'm like, I mean, the spread was 8.5. They won by 18. Like, spoiled Saturday as a Buckeye fan. Like, it is what it is. But again, me and Chris talked about it. It's week in and week out. The Buckeye fans are not judging themselves against the opponent on the field. They're judging themselves as if they were playing the national championship in that moment. And every mistake, every flaw that they see, they're looking through the lens of that's not going to work in the playoff. And I like that standard because it feels like this team has things to continue to correct and work on. And while they're coming off a national championship, you've heard the mentality coming into the season about this is a new team. They haven't won anything. They're trying to earn it again. And week in and week out, they're putting things on film that they can strive and correct. And I feel like this team is continuing to take steps forward, albeit small, it feels like. But you do see the corrections week in and week out. We watched the past game open up against Grambling. We see Bo Jackson becoming the number one back. Obviously, they've not lost their favorite play of JJ's down there somewhere. So, I mean, in totality, it seems like this team is progressing in the way that we want to, all while winning. It may not be as sexy, but you know what's sexy? 2 national championships.
Yeah. Well, we won't complain no matter how that happens if it does happen. So we will be happy with it. We'll say outside of Julian saying, I mean, I thought the wide receivers, when they got the ball, did decent. I mean, I'm not mad at his performance. Also, too, Hartline is a young coordinator. Technically first time really calling plays, and you felt like it. So he's working his way up. We'll see what he does. I've had no problems with Hartline's play calling through this week. This week I had a little beef with it, but maybe Ryan Day had the constraints on him. So we'll see. But like you said, winning is the most important thing. I thought guys played well. Washington was held in check. Again, can't play none about the defense, and offense gets it done. Put up 24 points on the road. I'm not mad at it. Could it have been 34? Could it have been 41? Yeah, I might be a little happier, but I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, Q, you mentioned winning is the most important thing. Your NFL team play this week?
We're not going to talk about any NFL ball today. I'm not talking about Premier League, and I'm not talking about NFL, even though the schedule has been rough early. So let's hope it lightens up a bit. It has not been good. It hasn't been good in Maryland this week. Maybe Maryland basketball will pick it up because we were due some wins.
What conference are the Ravens in? What division?
The AFC, unfortunately.
AFC, what? North?
AFC North.
I'm looking at these rankings, and I see a team at 3-1. And they're at the top of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, okay.
Are you familiar with them?
Well, international football doesn't count.
Oh man, if Mike Tomlin don't get things right, they might make us play over there permanently. But it shows you the state of our division that the lowly Steelers at 3-1 are at the top of the division right now. 1-3 for the Ravens. I mean, the Purple Browns and the real Browns both 1-3. That's crazy.
The Purple Browns is insane. I'm not really kind of slander on this show. Shout out to the Browns.
Oh man, enough NFL talk. Q. The whole premise of this show was, should the Buckeyes be afraid of anyone? And the more and more I think about it, I think some teams should be afraid of the Buckeyes if we're, I don't know what the hell was happening there. I think teams should be afraid of the Buckeyes, but for modesty's sake, are there teams on this list that give you pause for concern as a potential matchup issue for the Buckeyes?
Not particularly right now. I mean, definitely Oregon. Again, I think Jim Knowles felt a little cheated. He was like, "Look, man, help me out a little bit, or people gonna be mad at me after this loss." I mean, Oregon, they didn't look their best. I think they will continue to get better. Again, a very young team. So what we see right now is probably not what we see by the time it's Big Ten championship time. But they don't really concern me right now. I think Miami's looked really good, but again, they're playing. They really, I mean, Notre Dame is not what we thought they were, and if they're not, I mean, Miami's wins aren't that great. They've looked good while doing it, so that's the more important thing. But again, I'm not too worried about them. I mean, you look around, some of these teams I really just don't know what they are yet, and I have to wait a little bit. Alabama in Miami may have looked the best that I've seen since the Florida State loss. They've looked the best that I've seen maybe on this list, but there's a lot of fraudulent teams. And again, I don't know what A&M is right now. Texas Tech is creeping up around the top 10. I don't know where they are right now. I guess I'll see them in person. Not a team.
I'll help you.
I don't really know where they are right now. We will see. But I mean, you look at the SEC just isn't really delivering the threats we're used to them delivering. Like you'll look out there and you'll be like, man, it's going to suck in the playoffs when we see that team. Really haven't seen that team yet. You look around the country. I mean, I guess people could look at Ohio State and be like 24-6 is Washington. I think we have a chance, but looking at this team week in, week out, there's no one really around the country that scares me right now. I think our defense can hold. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I mean, I think our defense will hold up against anybody. And again, a playoff Ryan Day is different than regular season Ryan Day. So hopefully he will open it up a little more then. But I mean, I just look around, like, especially in the Big Ten, no one really worries me. Look around the country. The SEC is a bit fraudulent, if I would say so right now. It looks a little fraudulent. So I'll really maybe Miami right now, maybe gives a threat. Alabama right now, maybe. But outside of that, I've not really been impressed by many teams.
This feels like the SpongeBob Maniac meme where you're like looking for the maniac and you are the maniac. It's like we're looking around for that team that is the juggernaut, and I believe that it is the Buckeyes. I'm right there with you with Oregon as being one of those potential teams. Dante Moore, 14 touchdowns on the year already. Ron 3, number 1 overall player in the 2023 rankings. So, I've been very high on him as a talent. I danced on Decorated Moore's grave way too early after one game, for true freshmen, writing them off after one game, probably a bit premature. But hey, compare someone to Jeremiah Smith and prepare for my wrath.
Can you get any more premature than that? I think that's about maybe the first quarter may have been the only more premature I might have gotten. But yeah, I mean, I thought he looked okay. I mean, I think this Oregon team has a lot of promise. I like their defense. I think they will be one of the better teams in the nation, and it should make a run as long as they don't schedule Ohio State first in the playoffs. I think they're down to make a little bit of a run when we see the final version of them, and to get a good win with a young he's not young anymore, but a first time playing quarterback on the road in a whiteout. I mean that's big. We talk about Penn State every year. It was like, man, I'm just happy to get out there with a win. I don't care how you do it or how it happens. Now, we don't have the luck of Drew Aller just throwing it right to us to end the game. That never happens for us. But
yeah, we have to get out there off him with JTT. He never threw it right to us.
Maybe Aller will repeat that performance, hopefully. But yeah, man. I mean, does anybody really scare you? I mean, the thing about Miami, I really like their defense. I cannot see Carson Beck and their offense come out there against Matt P's defense and giving us a scare. I right now I can't see it with that lineup. I just don't, and that's why I wouldn't include them. Yeah, outside that, I think Bama may be the best game right now.
I like that Miami defense a lot. I just have too much respect for our corners to believe that a team with two freshman receivers are going to beat us. Yeah. That's just where I stand with that Miami team. You brought up Alabama. That's the main team that I'm looking out there. It's like Ty Simpson's decide, and it's a lot of logo because they lost the number 18 Florida State and they're number 10. Ow! Like it's just I don't know, and I can't even fault the voters because I fall for it too. It's like, I don't know, man. You're a big scary movie guy. It's like the killer never dies. He every scene you think he's dead, and then here he is following you down the street. And I feel like that's Alabama. You think they're dead? Nope, they just beat up Kirby Smart. Like I don't know how to shake this feeling that Alabama is a team to fear, especially with the way that Ty Simpson's playing. They have 0 run game, so how does that play? Like, if the Buckeyes are able to drop 8 into coverage and dare Bama to run the ball, how's that work? I mean, their best receiver might be Caden Proctor. I don't know. This Alabama team, just because all of the talent that they have, it's hard for me to write them off. Kalen DeBoer was one of my, when you were singing praises of Mike Norvell, I was singing the praises of Kalen DeBoer. And I don't want to use the word scare for this next team, but concern would probably be accurate, and it's Michigan. Like, we talk about what team could beat Ohio State out here, and it's like, I don't know if the team that can beat Ohio State is a team that's going to contend for a national championship. And it's like the Buckeyes feel like they have reached a point where they are the best team in college football, yet the only team that they can lose to is if they have a mental breakdown to the team up north. And while I don't think Michigan, from an X's and O's, from a talent standpoint, matches up the best with Ohio State, but I feel like circumstantially they line up, they match up perfectly, because it's like when you add in the stakes of the rivalry, I think that tips the scales more than any schematic or athletic advantage that any other team on this list potentially has. And personally, I don't think the Buckeyes would have to beat Michigan to win a national championship. And as disgusting as it sounds, Michigan may be Ohio State's most difficult game and fucking potentially lose and still win a national championship. And I just don't the narratives and the spin and the think pieces around Ohio State winning back-to-back national championships with a 5-game losing streak to Michigan, I'll be checking out for the offseason again, Q. I say every year we're gonna do an offseason show. If that is the narrative that drives, like if that's our Jordan versus LeBron debate of the offseason, I'll see you guys in August.
Yeah, Man, these rivalry games felt like they're played in a parallel universe, and it really feels like Ohio State plays Michigan like they played that first half against Washington. It just feels like we could be better.
It felt like I was watching a Michigan game during the first half. I was like, I've seen this.
It's like we could play better, we just don't want to. That's how we could make this easy, but we'd rather keep you entertained. It's like, I don't know. Let's just blow them out. I want a comfortable Saturday. I'm not trying to stress over Ohio State another week, but yeah, I mean, you look at the schedule. I mean, that's really how it looks. Again, not worried about Penn State, not worried about Indiana. Michigan is the team where it's like it's just such a different game that it's like, yeah, I mean, that would be the one you look at right now and say things will get weird, and hopefully we can make it out there, but. Hopefully this defense, or not this defense, hopefully this team has learned from their past mistakes and can right the ship. They should be able to get Jeremiah Smith the ball, and then we'll see what happens.
Q, it is 3:10 a.m. We are 55 minutes into the show. While we were writing the pre-show, I said, man, this one could be a short one. I'm over here fighting, yawning. Because it is so late, but we have to wrap the show. That's all I really have. I mean, the conclusion that I've come to in the past 2 days, I said, we're going to learn a lot about this coaching staff. And I feel like in this team, and I feel like we have. And what I've learned is I think they're the best team in the country and shouldn't be scared of anyone.
Yeah, they're playing like it right now. Got to get another game next week, so another chance to get better. And just this team is going to build brick by brick. I think we're starting off at a good spot, so we can work our way up from here. The ceiling is the roof.
The ceiling is the roof. Q, let the people know where they can find you here on Dead Air Sports, but specifically for the next 3 days, they'll catch you at 10 a.m.
Well, before you come find me, make sure you like that video, hit that sub button, and hit the notification bell. Well, now I mix those two up, so hit that bell as well. And also, then you won't miss us at 10 a.m. And also tell a friend if you can. If you want to find me, I am Cityboy Quentin on Twitter, Flyna Johnson on Instagram, and here Monday through Friday during the Buckeye Roast on Dead Air Sports. Again, hit that sub button, hit that like, hit those comments, talk to us, share your thoughts about the game. We'd love to hear it. And Ron, where can they find you at?
Well, you can find me on the new community page on our YouTube. I've been using that thing like it is my Twitter. I know there are some people that have been watching us here on YouTube for years, but they are not very active on Twitter. So if they want an opportunity to interact with us, there is a new timeline feature and a community for the channel. So if you come to the Dead Air Sports channel and go to the community tab, you can see all of our posts. We try to keep some news there, graphics, polls, trivia questions. So just another way to interact with us. If you guys aren't on Twitter, go ahead and take advantage of that community tab and give us a shout. We keep an eye out on there. So if you're posting in the community, you just may make it on to the show. If you want to find me, you can find me here weekdays on Dead Air Sports for the Buckeye Roast. We are normally here at 8 a.m., but for the next 3 days, you can catch us at 10 a.m. So be sure to set the notifications, hit that notification bell so you don't miss us. We are going to be experimenting with a new time slot here for the next couple days. You can also find me on Twitter at 2Ts. It's 2_TEES. And of course, you can catch me in the Bleacher Report app post games with Chris Drew for instant reactions. If you missed our instant reaction to the Washington game, but make sure you check that out. That is available right here on our YouTube channel as well. Q, my eye is twitching. My bed is calling me. I need to get to bed. You know how this thing ends. It's always go Bucks. And of course, OH.
I-O.
Example, when things get hard in life, you just keep swinging as hard as you can, you fight. That's our culture.
I promised you we had a plan. Remember that we talked about a plan? The plan was infallible. Part of that infallible plan is getting a team prepared, ready to go, so when we start practice, our coaches know what we got. And there's not one person in America I trusted more than Coach Mick and that staff. Think about this. 130 teams either today, they report, or they've already reported. 130. 16 weeks from now, There's going to be one champion in our conference, one champion on the side of our conference. And in the country, one team's going to do this. Not 36, not 48, not 44, one. That tells you how hard it is to be a champion. To do right all the time. To know your assignments. To have 11 guys play hard on every snap. That's hard. That's why there's one. I want a hungry team. I want a hungry team. I want a team that can't wait to get out there. Where there's a bunch of players that maybe, whenever you're a new coaching staff, you haven't played much, maybe you're trying to make a name for yourself, you're a hungry football player. I want a hungry team. And last one, most importantly, I've got to coach a few of them. I want an angry team. I want a pissed off football team. I want a team that has a little chip on their shoulder. Maybe something's been taken from you. Maybe something hasn't. Maybe something's been taken from you. Are you a team that's going to go get it? You're the Ohio State Buckeyes. You're an angry football team. You got an angry staff. You got a bunch of guys that are getting ready to start a journey. We're starting that journey tomorrow at 5 a.m. You're a hungry football team, and I'm proud to be your coach. There's a plan in place, right?